Zajímalo by vás, jak to v našem exportním inkubátoru vypadá? Pojďte se podívat. České firmy mohou inkubátor využívat po dobu 3 až 6 měsíců. K dispozici dostanou nejen plně vybavenou kancelář, ale i 70 hodin Pořádání je formou vlastní kanceláře ve sdíleném coworkingovém prostoru. Účast v exportním inkubátoru je vhodná pro české firmy, které chtějí posílit personální obsazení ve Spojených státech. V Chicagu. Zajímalo by vás, jak to v našem exportním inkubátoru vypadá? Pojďte se podívat. České firmy mohou inkubátor využívat po dobu 3 až 6 měsíců. K dispozici dostanou nejen plně vybavenou kancelář, ale i 70 hodin asistence naší zahraniční kanceláře. Současně se mohou inkubovat
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We'll be kicking off the event in 5 to 10 minutes.
žádal pana ministra jako úvodní slovo. Že jo?
Jo. Jo, obličej.
Jsi hodná.
Čelo.
No, v pohodě, ano. Kledu, kledu.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here today. We're happy to kick off our Invest in the USA seminar with Select USA. Yeah, and for the opening remarks, please allow me to introduce Minister Josef Síkela, Minister of Industry and Trade of the Czech Republic.
Well, my second turn today. Ambassador Sabet Dirbijan, Deputy Assistant Secretary De Falco, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We have just opened the National Pavilion, and now it is my pleasure to launch the program here on stage at the International Engineering Fair in Brno. The fair is the most important engineering exhibition in the Czech Republic and in the region. What is more, the city of Brno is our key regional innovation center, being the pioneer in new technologies and research. I am really glad to welcome the delegation from the United States on one of the largest and the most competitive markets in the world. Given its size and opportunities, many companies from around the globe are trying to be the next big thing. In the US market, today's event represents a unique opportunity to learn how to actually make it and, moreover, flourish. I believe that the Czech Republic has much to offer when it comes to innovation, creativity, and determination of its companies. Me and my colleagues from the ministry are working every day to support our companies to help them succeed. We are also currently preparing our new economic strategy to underline this effort. This strategy focuses on the transformation and modernization of our economy, both in the industrial and service sector. It is also complemented by our new export strategy with focus on providing assistance to Czech businesses, which is why we are here today. Much success can be gained from collaboration with the right partners. Therefore, I am using this opportunity wisely and make the most of it. Often the best of ideas starts from the most improbable ones. I wish you good luck and a lot of success. Thank you for your attention, and dear Bijan, Excellency, the floor is yours.
Dobré ráno. Děkuji, David. Perfect. Dobré ráno. Good morning. Dear friend, Minister Sikala, colleague, Deputy Assistant Secretary DeFalco, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to be here today for our Invest in the USA, Select USA seminar. I'd like to thank Radomil Ezal from Czech Trade, Petr Kladek from the South Moravian Innovation Center, of course, for their invaluable support and collaboration for making this event possible. I am delighted that so many representatives from both private sector companies as well as government institutions have joined us today. This speaks volumes about the potential of investing in the United States. With an annual GDP of $20 trillion and a population of over 325 million, the United States is the world's biggest and most attractive market, offering unmatched diversity, a thriving culture of innovation, and a productive workforce. Companies of all sizes, from startups to multinationals, can find ideas, resources, and the market to succeed and grow. If you're looking to grow your business, the United States has a very unique and compelling value proposition, and we want you to be there. The U.S. government offers support to foreign investors through the Department of Commerce Select USA program. The Select USA Summit, which happens every year in June, provides a unique platform for serious foreign investors to learn more about doing business in the United States and to share their experience with others. In fact, I'll share that I was back in the United States for the Select USA program this summer with 11 Czech companies, and it was extremely productive. We are fortunate to have representatives of economic development organizations from 11 different U.S. states here today, and you can be sure they are looking forward to the opportunity to meet with enterprising Czech companies following this seminar. These representatives, they come from the states of Alabama, Georgia, Ohio, Indiana, Iowa, Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee, and Wisconsin. Thank you all so much for coming. I also want to highlight that we have Lukáš Vimola from Dentons, Munir Nanji from Citibank, and Pavel Sovichka from Panattoni as speakers, as they are the real experts in both assessing initial investments in the United States and increasing your investments in the United States. A big thank you also goes out to Monika Vichlikova from Alba Forum and Yuri Vrens from Firmat, who will share their company's experience as CEOs of successful Czech companies operating in the United States. So there is no doubt that success in the U.S. market can help drive regional and global opportunities for your companies. I encourage you all to take advantage of the excellent resources here today at your disposal to learn how we can help facilitate accomplishing your own goals. So thank you so much for your attention. Enjoy the seminar. Hezký den.
Thank you, Ambassador. Next up, we have David Miller, Director General from the Ministry of Industry and Trade.
Okay. Děkuji. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, Bijan, Deputy Assistant Secretary, David, Radek, Director General, Peter, CEO of South Moravian Innovation Center. It's my great pleasure to address you really briefly at the occasion of this wonderful event. I would like to mention a couple of brief facts because I was given, taking into account the time, just a few minutes. But first of all, I'm really happy to be here in Brno, and I'm really happy that so many representatives from United States made it here Coincidentally, Brno is my hometown, even though I spent last 20 years living in Prague and overseas. And I'm always glad to be back. And I'm even more happier that Brno is one of the key innovation centers in the Czech Republic, mostly thanks to South Moravian Innovation Center, its universities, and the culture in the Brno region. We all know that great startups, even them, they must always start from scratch. And Brno is a perfect place to be and to start, because taking into account the size of Czech market, at the end of the day, you have to make it international. And that's why we are here. That's why we have here our American guests and friends. We reflect the role of startups and future, in best case scenario, national champions and unicorns in our new export strategy, approved by the Czech government just 2.5 months ago. One of the key roles of the new export strategy is to help to find startups and new trailblazers, new innovative companies, to help them to make it global. And indeed, one of the best places you can look for if you want your company make global is United States. That's why we are all here. I'm really happy that we've got representatives of 11 US states here in Brno. I really hope this is not the last visit, but just the first one for most of them, with many more to come. I would like to thank again John. Thank you, Lord Ambassador, because it needed a lot of effort and a lot of work, and I really appreciate your personal contribution. And of course, I would like to wish you all a great event. This is perfect opportunity to find new partners and to explore how you can work together in the future, strengthening our Czech and US bilateral ties. Thank you again. Have a great event.
Thank you, David. Next up, we have Radomil Doležal, Director General of Czech Trade. And thank you so much for working with us to make this event happen.
Mr. Ambassador, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the key role of the Czech Trade Agency is to help to assist Czech companies, Czech entities in finding relevant business links abroad. To fulfill this role, the agency has at its disposal a network of 52 foreign offices operating on 64 markets. The agency has a strong presence in the United States through its long-established office in Chicago. And since this year, we have the office in Austin, Texas. We also cover the east and west of the US in cooperation with our sister agency, Czech Invest, operating in New York and San Francisco. In their expansion abroad, we provide Czech companies with a range of comprehensive services, and I would like to mention two of them, which are, in my opinion, the most important for the newcomers, for the investors to US. It's a Compass, which is a complex service providing assistance to companies in more complicated processes in foreign markets. I would mention the company formation, product certification, registration, and permits for business activities. And the second one, this is probably the most essential for the newcomers, is the export incubators. Today we operate 4 of them in US, of course, in India, in United Arab Emirates, and newly in Mexico. It was opened recently. I'm sure that Mr. Pavel Eichner will give you more details on operation of our incubator in Chicago, which is here with our office, local office there. So all that is left for me to do is to wish all consulting companies sitting here to have, I would say, fruitful meetings today to get all the useful information and, of course, to make all the necessary contacts needed for your expansion. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. Dolezal. And last but not least, please allow me to introduce our very special guest today, David DeFalco, Deputy Assistant Secretary for Europe and Eurasia from the U.S. Department of Commerce. Thank you, David.
I have a challenge with all the robotics here. I think we should get one that moves the microphone for us. But I'll begin by, I won't repeat, but to thank all our distinguished guests in the front row for making this happen. But I also want to put a special thanks to Zdeněk and Richard for making this event happen and for pulling it all together. I think it's a wonderful opportunity for us to discuss both the challenges and the opportunities we see in the emerging technology sector, if you will, both here in the Czech Republic and in the United States. I work for the United States Commerce Department, and we've had a long and fruitful collaboration with the Czech Ministry of Industry and Trade. And the strength and the longevity of this relationship reflects the high regard we have for the talent and skill of the Czech industry. And I think the point the minister made early this morning is completely accurate, certainly from where we sit. And I've had the pleasure of frequently traveling to many of the over 50 European and Eurasian countries in my portfolio. And it would not be an overstatement to say that the Czech Republic is one of our most prized allies and business partners as we work to create a 21st century economy. And I think you can feel the buzz and the energy in this pavilion that I think reflects that perspective. And our confidence in the future of Czech-U.S. commercial relations is demonstrated by the strength of our participation today in the Brno International Engineering Trade Fair through this seminar and through the participation of the 11 states from across the United States that have come here today to help Czech business expand their outreach. And it's only fitting that we're launching the Select USA seminar here in Brno, as David said, one of the most progressive centers of science and innovation in Central Europe. Now, to Select USA, it is the government program housed at the U.S. Department of Commerce that focuses on facilitating job-creating business investment into the United States and raising awareness of the critical role that economic development plays in the U.S. economy. Since its inception, Select USA has assisted thousands of clients, facilitating over $184 billion in client-verified investment, supporting more than 185,000 jobs across the United States and its territories. Now, I do have to say this, especially with the 11 states represented here today, that the Select USA program is geographically neutral. That means we represent all U.S. states and territories, which also means that we aim to provide you with access to unbiased data and information to help you make the right investment location decision for your business. We help companies connect to economic development organizations at the state level and to, more importantly for many, the U.S. government, federal agencies, and regulatory authorities. We're proud that the United States is a world-class destination for businesses, offering access to top talent in one of the world's largest consumer markets, as the ambassador noted, with over 325 million people. I will note that in the past 2 years, Select USA successfully supported 5 investments from the Czech Republic, totaling $181 million in creating 290 new jobs in the United States. So we look forward to continue to work with you as you grow. And to those of you who have not yet invested in the U.S., Select USA is a resource for your business year-round. We support international firms through a variety of services, from one-to-one client counseling, providing data and research, conducting events and programming like the one today, and helping to navigate the federal regulatory landscape, which, as many of you know, can be quite complicated. We also, as already been mentioned, host our annual flagship event, the Select USA Investment Summit in Washington, D.C. I know some of you attended the 2023 summit last May, which was the largest ever. We attracted over 4,900 attendees from across the global investment community. I will note, for those of you that are interested, the Investment Summit does bring together the entire United States economic development community and allows international investors and companies to connect, network, and explore their business opportunities in the U.S. market. So I would say please save the 2024 Investment Summit date, which next year will be June 23rd to 26th in Washington, D.C., and we certainly look forward to welcoming a large delegation of Czech companies. I just want to spend 1 minute because I think it's important to underscore how strong the administration believes, not just in promoting cooperation with our trusted allies and partners on emerging technology deployment and the work that you see today on the FAIR floor, but also providing the incentives required to make those technologies, those deployments succeed. I'll just take 1 minute to note that the United States is continuously trying to be creative, and I think many of you are familiar with the passage of recent legislation like the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, the CHIPS and Science Act, and the Inflation Reduction Act. I'll skip over my points, but I can assure you that there are a number of large incentives that are offered to help promote the kind of technologies that we see today to help our companies be more competitive, not just in the United States, but globally. And certainly we see that the U.S.-Czech and the U.S.-EU relationship is one of the primary platforms through which these technologies will succeed. I will also note that these programs provide additional investment certainty because not only will they help expedite the processes, but they will further boost confidence and support for clean energy. And the technologies together, I think, will make the United States the home for rapid technological innovation that the world needs to transition to clean energy and establish long-term energy security, not just for the United States, but for its allies and partners. I will conclude by saying that the companies here today reflect the future of Czech industry, and at the Commerce Department, we're confident that our shared future is in good hands. I wish you a productive day together today. I hope to see many of you in Washington, D.C. next June at the Select USA Investment Summit. And again, I thank you all for coming today and look forward to meeting many of you on the floor this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Great to have you here today. And for the first presentation of the day today, please allow me to introduce Pavel Eichner. He's the director of the Czech Trade Chicago Regional Center, and he will tell us a bit about how Czech Trade supports Czech exporters in the U.S. market.
Thank you very much. I think I'm good like this. So, Your Excellency, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for coming this day. My presentation is very short. I just want to make a brief introduction to what can we offer you in the US as Czech companies looking to expand to the US market. And as our Director General told already, I think that those two services are the ones that best match with what will you hear here today. let me start with the export incubator in the USA. Czech Trade, what basically does is to help Czech companies when they are exporting to foreign markets. In the US, we feel that the local presence and being there for all the activities is a key in the success of entering the market, of finding new partners, and basically of developing good relations with your local allies. What can you get with our export incubator is basically our services in the whole amount of the cost of the incubator, and plus you get an equipped office with options of using it all around the US. The main advantage is that it's not just the office, the cubicle, it's the cooperation with us when you are there. It's the events we can do together, and it's all the activities we can do to get to successful exportation, and in the end, hopefully, of the creation of your branch in the US. As many of you know, and I'm sure you will hear today from the other participants here, is that in the US a lot of processes really require for you to have a local branch, and sometimes you can start with just one person sending from your company here in the Czech Republic, and that's exactly why the export incubator is there. To complement the service, because this is like the beginning of entering the market, to complement this service is precisely the service Compass, which was mentioned before, which is the next step of supporting you as a Czech exporter to getting professional services in the US, such as legal services, HR services, accounting services, all this what is basically needed when you start with your new company, with your new branch in the US. We can support you financially with that, and giving you a list of experts who can actually help you with that. I would just like to add a small invitation for those of you who are interested. We will have another seminar on Friday in Prague, in our headquarters, where a lawyer from Chicago, Tom Thorelli, will be joining us to talk about all the challenges of the legal aspects of entering the US market. And now, without further ado, I would like to show you a little bit how the excavator actually looks, and for that I have a very short video of my colleague Markéta Šebelová. If we can play the video, please.
Zajímalo by vás, jak to v našem exportním inkubátoru vypadá? Pojďte se podívat. České firmy mohou inkubátor využívat po dobu 3 až 6 měsíců. K dispozici dostanou nejen plně vybavenou kancelář, ale i 70 hodin asistence naší zahraniční kanceláře. Současně se mohou inkubovat 3 až 4 společnosti. Uspořádání je formou vlastní kanceláře ve sdíleném coworkingovém prostoru. Účast v exportním inkubátoru je vhodná pro české firmy, které chtějí posílit personální obsazení ve Spojených státech, chtějí založit pobočku nebo zvažují investici. V případě, že by vás zajímalo více o exportním inkubátoru, obraťte se na naši kancelář zde v Chicagu.
And perfect. Sorry for those of you who don't speak Czech. I will happily translate the video for you for next time. But this was mainly addressed for the Czech exporters, so I hope you understood it. And here, just some final thoughts. These are our contact details. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact us. I will be here the whole day during the consultations. Anything you need, just let me know. I will be here, and that is all from my part. I wish you a successful afternoon, and thank you very much for coming again. Thank you.
Thank you, Pavel. Next up, we have Antje Abshoff from the Council of American States in Europe. Antje will tell you a bit about what all the different US state reps here do and how they can help you out today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the assistance with the microphone. We've already seen that's been quite the issue this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Pleasure to be here in Brno, the home of the distinguished Mendel University, which I'm very familiar with, as biology is one of my key things. I'm here today as the president of CASE. CASE is the Council of American States in Europe. And I'm very delighted to share a bit more information about CASE with you. So CASE was founded back in 1971 in Brussels, Belgium, and is an organization of United States with offices in Europe. Yeah, you're laughing. It is quite the alliteration. But in our work, we right now have 19 US states that have offices in Europe. They are based in Germany, they are based in Poland, they are based in Belgium, and in other countries as well. And it is our job to assist you once you have critical mass in the United States and are ready to set up your own operation. We offer more than 50 years of experience working with international companies and would be very pleased to assist you as well whenever you're ready. Everything that we do in our role, assisting you with regards to site selection in the United States, is always confidential, free of charge, and without any obligation. And today we have 11 states here in total, and in case there are companies here that haven't signed up for the one-to-one meetings, please come see us. And right now, if it's possible, I would love for my state members to get up, and also every US state present, all the way from Alabama to Wisconsin. Take a wave. Please take note of our colleagues here. Network after all the speeches. We invite you to connect with us anytime. As CASE, we are able to provide you with access to the United States market. Obviously, we work hand in hand with Pavel and his team in Chicago and also the other locations. And whenever you are at a point in your exploration of the United States market that you are considering opening up your own operations, please reach out to us. Everything that we do, obviously, is help you guide within your site selection and the whole process. Whether you're a startup company or whether you're an established manufacturer, we would love to work with you and assist you as well. I'm going to skip through this, but this slide very briefly shows you the demographics of the United States. And as you can see, 70% to 80% of the population in the United States live east of the Mississippi, making this a premier destination for US investment. And this slide didn't quite work out, obviously. I apologize for this. But it shows you, with regards to our member states, how much of a powerful and interesting market we provide to you. Here it comes. To you as Czech companies looking at the United States. What is important as you work with us? We would love to understand what your plans are for the United States. Having a complete business plan is relevant. However, we can also assist you with regards. We also need to understand the size and the scope of your project in order to unlock the assistance that we can provide to you. And then obviously, as you move through the various steps of, let's say, building searches, recruiting, which is one of the most important topics in the United States, finding a qualified workforce, this is where we can come in, assist you with business intelligence, provide you estimates of operating costs in our various states, as well as any other question that you have or that you need. We are able to assist you, detail-oriented, as well as relevant numbers for you. And I see both of you nodding. Are you ready to invest in the US? Yeah, I mean you. Awesome. Thank you so much. And this is our website, our contact information, as well as our LinkedIn page. I invite all of you to follow us. I invite all of you to reach out to us. I have a couple of business cards as well with the general information for CASE, the Council of American States in the United States, and would like to reiterate again that we assist Czech companies of all sizes, from all industries, with all kinds of plans for the United States. Thank you so much, also to Czech Trade, as well as Richard with the US Embassy. Thank you.
Thank you, Antje. And next up, we have a presentation from Pavel Sovička, Managing Director at Panattoni, and it will be a presentation about site selection in the United States. So choosing the right locality for your expansion in the US.
Good morning, hezké poledne, podle českého chápání času. I will speak in English. I'm from Panattoni. I'm not sure whether you are familiar with the company, but we are a US-based company. I'm based in Czech Republic, so I will try in this presentation to show some, I would say, relevance in terms of the numbers compared of US markets, industrial markets, compared to the Czech markets. What we do, we build industrial infrastructure. We were founded in '86 in California by Carlo Panattoni. And we were expanding then further down to Europe. The D-Day for us was 2005 when we started in Europe and then expanded in Czech Republic in 2007. Now we cover most of Europe, most of Northern America, and we focus really on developing only industrial infrastructure. There will be loads of numbers. You don't have to remember them. If you send me a note, we will share with you all the data, because really there's loads of slides, loads of numbers, but I will try to highlight what is the most relevant. In terms of our competition with the US, we have built in Europe around 20 million square meters. In Northern America, we have developed around 30 million square meters. So a lot of stories of our customers which followed us from Europe to US. That's very important to say. We have a lot of customers which we have created in Europe. They were US-based companies. And then our colleagues in US started cooperating with them in US. This is very important to see. These are the highlights of the real estate. And the further figures will prove how easy is the entry of the industrial market in US. I think it's one of the best times for Czech companies to expand, because when you look at the vacancy which is rising, unfortunately the rents are going up as well. This is created that the oversupply is not so large and it's very expensive to fund the new development. So that's not that easy, but I'll show you that there are places where you can get brand new industrial cheaper than in Czech. So the vacancy rises. We will see in the numbers that for Czech understanding, the numbers are like 10-fold higher or 100-fold higher than we have in Czech, or what we experience in Czech. So when you look at the rents, which are $9, to make it really complicated for you guys, anyone from Czech, we denominate the rentals in euro per square meter per month. In US, you will get it in US dollar per square feet per year. So it's not easy. So you have to multiply it times 10 and divide it by 12 to get to the result, right? So when you look at the rents, which are not the prime rents, but the rents are approximately 50 to 80% higher than in Czech on average. But I'll show you the locations where you can get it cheaper. The vacancy rate is below 5%, which we think is healthy vacancy. In Czech Republic, you will be looking at something like 1.8%. So it's very difficult for the tenants to find the suitable location in Czech like that. In US, you can do it. Industrial market, when you look at the dark blue, I think that's important to see. The dark blue is the supply of the new stock, so construction, new construction which is happening at the moment. Most of that is spec. And the light blue is the take-up. So there's a very good potential that there will be really big growth of vacancy. Again, great for the tenants, not great for us, not great for the investors into the real estate, but that's the fact. So that's, again, prove that that's the right time to enter US. When you look at the supply of individual markets, you will see that they are in, let's say, 6 million square meters of spec development at the moment, just for Phoenix. So when we compare it to Czech, we were developing here something like 260,000 square meters in half a year, the whole Czech market, comparing to one market in US, which delivered 6 million square meters, or is under construction at the moment. So it's really completely different numbers and much easier to do the business in those markets. As promised at the beginning, you will find locations which are cheaper than in the Czech Republic. So these are the rents for individual types of property you might look for. The small size units, you see the figures are crazy in West. So you will have like multiple of 3 times, 4 times higher rents than in the Czech Republic. But when you look at the big box in Midwest, you will get it maybe 20-25% cheaper than in the Czech Republic. These are, again, figures of under construction. You see that there's something like 10 million square meters just in Northeast under construction. And just this year, there was delivered 5 million square meters of existing stock. So really, these figures are, for us in Czech, something we can't imagine. The same for example, Germany. When I speak to our German colleagues, we will be talking for the whole Germany about the same size of the market, like for one location in US. Vacancy, still you will see markets where there's a very low vacancy. Generally, it's created by difficult permitting. It's much easier to get the permits in US, but I'll show you some locations where you might struggle to get your location built up in time. So really, that's important to say. Absorption, you will see that Texas is one of the most active locations and states where there's a lot of supply, but also a lot of activity. This is very interesting. Past years, and COVID especially, was driven by e-commerce. So the e-commerce was taking majority of the take-up and at least the space. In US, you can see the swing to 20% of the manufacturing, but in Czech, the swing is to 60%. So really, the industrial is taking the speed and is getting ahead of different other uses in the industrial buildings. As in Europe, yeah, the site selection doesn't have that many other variables than in Europe. When you look, it's important to understand where you want to deliver your products, what workforce you need, when you need the real estate, whether it's available on that market or it's not available, business and tax climate, and I think that's very important to understand. I'll show you the comparison of individual markets in US, how they are friendly to the new businesses and what are the taxes. And utilities, of course, if you've got very demanding operation for utilities, you need to really pay attention to it. So, top 10 regions, when you, again, compare it to Czech, Dallas, 74 million square meters of existing stock, and that's only distribution. I will not go through the others, but these are really unbelievable numbers. The whole Czech market is around 12 million square meters. The whole Polish market is around 30 million square meters. So just in Dallas, you've got more than those two countries combined. And that's just logistics. In those two countries, we are talking logistics and industrial. And when you look at manufacturing, again, there's another 44 million in Chicago, Detroit 20 million, Los Angeles 15 million. And those are numbers which make the entry of US very easy. And as you will find out in many other, I would say, parts of life, it's very easy and very good to do business or whatever activity in US. But because it's easy, anyone is trying to succeed, and it's very competitive. So these are top 10 regions based on the take-up, but it's too small. This is very important to understand, and that's, I think, why the program of US government is so successful. These are announced investments in industrial, and this is only manufacturing, construction spendings. On top of that, you will have the technology on its own. So when you take that there's a $500 billion of investment into construction, most probably there will be 2,000 billions. What is that? I don't know. Trillions. $2 trillion invested into technology on top of that. So it's unbelievable, and I think we can't see that happening in Europe at the moment. Incentives, that shows how much are the local governments happy to give up the incentives to the new businesses to start operation. 44 in Massachusetts, that's a lot. Ohio, 40. So really, you see the locations and comparison, how easily they were able to process that. Top regions for Texas, there's top 10 worst. I'm not sure worst, but the highest, and the top with the top low scale, which is on the bottom. I'll share it with you. Just drop me a line, we will share it with you. Top regions for Texas, for us, unbelievable. Texas, 0 corporate tax, 0 personal income tax. Unbelievable. So this is quick comparison to us. This is the list of the friendliness. So when you look at that, there's a class of the market. This is real estate. Yeah. So A, B, C, and so on. That's not a classification based on the friendliness, but the friendliness is next to the name of the location. But there are loads of friendly locations available. Process and costs. This is very important to understand. I will jump quickly because I see I'm over time already. I'm running into the next speech of Sanji, yeah, maybe. In Czech, you have to count that from identifying the location with the master plan and zoning, you will not be ready with your building sooner than in 3 years. And then you have to be lucky. We are trying to fight with that. We are preparing the sites in a form that you can be operational in 12 to 24 months, but it's a additional cost and a hassle that we have to invest before any customer comes. I will skip this one, and this is important to understand. You can see the dark gray is the permitting process. You've got the zone planned, and how long does it take? So when you look at Southern California, hello, it's like in Czech Republic, right? So when you expand to South California, you will just meet the same environment potentially in terms of your new development as in Czech. In other locations, you see that you can go down to 2 months to get the permit to start the construction of your factory. Development process, again, there are specifics. So you have to ask, I think, case by case. What was very interesting for me was the US Army locations and protection zones and so on, which can affect the lead time to get the permit. Hub for big boxes, New Jersey and Pennsylvania, yes. Lovely, but you have to count it 24 to 36 months to get into operation because the land is scarce and the permitting is not easy. As said, California, hello, anyone from Czech expanding there will feel like at home. Only the difference is the sunny days, right? And North and South Carolina look like the winners. When you look at the companies which announce their investments and are coming or building or are already with your new operation in those states, that shows that it's worth of checking whether those locations might fit your needs. Workforce challenges, again, this shows the left graph. The gray parts are showing hiring for manufacturing. The blue shows for logistics. So the drop of e-commerce and their, I would say, take-up shows that the manufacturing keeps the pace. So in some locations, you might fight for the workers. And what we do? We try to deliver the building on quality, time for our customers and on cost. We deliver build-to-suit, build-to-own, build-to-lease. So be free to give me a call. We will link you up with our partners in US, in individual markets, and can show you and highlight whatever is different when you go to US and what you see in Czech. So drop me a line. There are contact details. Drop me a line. We will share with you the full presentation. And I hope that our colleagues will be happy in the US, you chasing them, because this was the first year I was receiving calls from German consultancy firms from Detroit saying, well, Pavel, we were doing the deals in Czech. Can you give me your contact detail for Detroit? Because we are there with our customer. He's a supplier of BMW, and we need to set up the factory quickly. So I think this shows that really the flow to US from Europe is real. Thank you.
Thank you, Pavel. Next up, we have Lukáš Výmola, counsel from Dentons, and he will tell us a bit about the legal aspects of expanding operations to the US market.
distinguished guests, thank you for having me. My name is Lukáš Mimola. I'm counsel at the international law firm Dentons. Dentons is one of the largest law firms in the world. We have offices, more than 160 offices in more than 80 countries, of which 44 offices are located in the US with more than 1,100 lawyers, which makes us a perfect fit for a potential expansion into the USA, and which was a good fit for a number of Czech-based groups who chose us as their legal partner when expanding into the USA. We have a very good coverage, we have a very good expertise, we have teams in various offices who are experts in various legal matters. You can then see it during a due diligence process when you often found that lawyers for more than 10 offices work on a particular project for you. As you can see on the map, we are not present in all of the US states, which does not affect our ability to assist you with all the other, in the other states where we are not directly present. We have a very good example of such assistance, which was a deal for KKCG, a Czech family-owned group who constructed its methanol production plant in West Virginia, and we were able to assist them from different US locations with different people sitting in different states. These are the main areas or sectors with which we assist the clients in the state when expanding into the United States. In particular, it's the M&A, acquisition of companies, establishing joint ventures with US partners, accompanied by construction. But not only that, we also focus on startups, and a certain particularity of the United States is the bankruptcy and distress assets, which is slightly different to what we perceive in the Czech Republic. In case of US companies, bankruptcy or distress situation is not an end of the road, but just a stop on the road during the life cycle of a company. So you might come across on opportunities of investing into companies which are in distress or even bankrupt, which does not automatically eliminate these companies from your consideration of expansion into the United States. An example of a distressed acquisition on which we advised Seven Energy was acquisition of Blackhorn Mining. This acquisition was interesting also from the perspective that it was very fast. It took only 25 days for the whole process to complete, including due diligence, negotiation of the transaction documentation, as well as negotiation of the financing documentation. And in addition to that, it was done during COVID, and everything was signed electronically. Another example of insolvent asset would be acquisition of Mari Energy under the Chapter 11 of the US insolvency process. As I've mentioned, it's typical that the deals are done distantly. Almost no physical meetings, no physical signing, no physical closing. Everything is signed electronically. DocuSign is very, very often used as the means to execute documentation. Since we had the opportunity to assist and advise a number of Czech clients, including, as I mentioned, KKCG, Seven Energy, or Draslovka with their expansion into the United States, there were certain lessons which we learned during our journey with them. First, lesson which I would like to mention is actually the last bullet point on the screen, and that is the importance of Prague-based coordination team. The legal market in the United States is different. The legal setup is different. The way the law firms in the United States work is different to what you are used to in case of Czech Republic or the rest of the continental Europe. So we found out that it's extremely important that you have someone on the ground in the Czech Republic who can communicate with you, who understands your business, who understands your needs, and can pass on these needs and to the U.S. Council, and then translate what the U.S. Council has to say to you into the language that you understand, not meaning just Czech language, but the way we are used to deal with legal matters. Another important lesson to learn, in particular in connection with construction, is that US is a litigation-based culture. In the US, construction basically equals litigation. When I first joined the world of the international law firms more than 10 years ago, I was quite surprised to find out that all international law firms have construction litigation teams who are often larger than regular litigation teams and who specialize on construction litigation. And this is in particular important in terms of risk allocation and liability management, which can get quite fast in the US. So that is something you need to keep in mind when you plan a construction project in the United States. I've already mentioned that the deals in the US can be very fast, very quickly, very sharp. 25 days was quite an extreme, but in comparison to what we usually experience in the Czech Republic or European region, the US deals tend to be somewhat faster. Typically what we see are auction-based processes in case of acquisition of companies. We've done acquisition of listed companies, non-listed companies, distressed companies, insolvent companies. So our experience is quite broad, and the lesson learned is auction process is usually the way forward on side of the sellers, and we see warranty and indemnity insurance on number of deals. Corporate law is very flexible in the United States. Setting up a company, changing anything in the company's registers, if there are any, is very quick, very straightforward, often done online. So very, very much ahead of Czech Republic in this respect. I've already mentioned bankruptcy is not the end of the road. It's just a stop on the road in the life cycle of the company. It is a tool. It's the opportunity to take advantage of. The transaction documentation is to a certain extent different to what we are used in the Czech Republic. It's often more complicated. There are different types of documents that are being used in comparison to what you typically see in the Czech Republic. Security clearances are an important topic to be aware of. Similarly to Europe, with the introduction of the foreign direct investment regulation, as well as the relatively fresh foreign subsidies regulation, also in the United States, the foreign investments is subject to various clearances and permits, not only antitrust, but also security clearances. Mr. Sovička already mentioned there are a number of army locations which play a role in permitting process and which can make the process more difficult. So these are the main lessons which we learned during our advice to clients who are expanding in the United States. So thank you for your attention. Should you have any questions or queries, I'm happy to answer them. Feel free to reach out to me. Thank you.
Okay, gotta go. Thank you, Lukáš. And so the next step in your expansion to the US is banking. And for that, please allow me to introduce Munir Nanji, country officer for the Czech Republic from Citibank. Forward.
Oh, great. Thank you. This is good. The mic can be robotic, I guess. We're having different heights today, so can you all hear me? Is it clear? Yeah? Brilliant. Thank you. So thanks again for the U.S. Embassy for having Citibank present. I appreciate that. As all of you know, without a bank account, you can't really operate. And being an American bank, we would like the Czech companies going to the US to bank with Citi. So hopefully, I'll run through my slides. There's quite a bit of slides, just like Mr. Pantoni said. And we'll just have to see how quickly I run through those, but probably less data than his presentation, but more pictures. So with that, a few things to talk about. I mean, this sort of covers the broad agenda, but I think the appendix is generally where most of the details are. And I'm going to leave the appendix for my colleagues who are going to be presenting tomorrow. So if you've got any further questions, my team is presenting tomorrow and they can go through that. But I'll sort of take you through pretty much the high-level data points that we've picked up. So I think as the ambassador started this morning, the US is a very attractive market. It's very large, obviously, from a GDP perspective. It's got a lot of, obviously, companies in the US. But I think what's interesting about this slide and it's good for the Czech companies to keep in mind is that going to the US has other benefits. Obviously, accessing the market is important, but we have found that Czech companies that have gone to the US have learned a lot about experimentation. The US is a market where you can actually go out there and you can develop things. Some of the products ideas you have may obviously succeed, but you could actually learn from failure. And the US is a market which allows you to learn from failure and to pick up from those learnings. So we found companies that go to the US benefit from things that are knock-on effects that allow you sort of incubate from that. The other data point there I think is interesting is that it's one of the few countries in the world that still uses checks. So checks are commonly used, and that provides a different set of challenges for companies going to the US. So if you look at Citi, we are actually located in close to 100 countries around the world. The reason we put that slide up there is that, the US is one large market, but our expertise for Czech companies is when you go to the US, you also want to access other countries. And we are located in 100 countries around the world. And I also talk about the Czech Republic. And I think globality is a big part of what we provide to our clients. And so, as Czech companies expand, we're finding that you can use the US as a sales point, but you can use manufacturing in obviously Canada, Latin America, other parts of Europe, and so forth. So the US can be one part of your business model, but other parts of the world can be other parts of your your supply chain and your ecosystem. So why do customers choose Citi? The reason we want to show this slide is that as you expand into the US, you always have a choice. There are always other banks you can go to. But one of the biggest considerations is financial, the financial strength. So we are about a $14 trillion balance sheet, which is very large. We are actually reliable. We've been in business around the world for, over 100 years. And in some countries, we've been there for, over 200 years. So Citi has been around for a fairly long time, which gives reliability. The other one is around partnership. So when you're in the country for very long, in the US for very long, we're a member of a lot of the clearing houses, a lot of the associations. We work a lot with, obviously, the regulatory environment. We work a lot with companies and so forth. So partnership is a very big part of our strength. Solutions. So our solutions, and I'll show you a couple of slides, are very electronic in nature. So we believe as a bank that we used to have technology and systems that allow you to connect your payments, your collections, your trade flows, very much using electronic capability and less paper. Innovation. This is really the core theme of what we do. And in the US, what Citi has done is we have innovation labs, but we also have a very large entity in the West Coast. It's called Citi Ventures. So we invest in companies directly. Those companies can be technology we put into the bank for us to use, but also we see these companies, how they grow. So we learn from incubation of ideas. Capital, very well capitalized organization, and that's important both by meeting regulatory standards, but also by being a very large, what we call a globally, systemically important bank. Environmental considerations. So we committed to $1 trillion of funds that we'll put between now and 2030 to ensuring a net zero commitment. Very large in terms of providing social housing in the US for the underprivileged. So the environmental considerations, the climate considerations, the social considerations are very much to the heart of what we do. And lastly, talent. So in the US, we have 66,000 people, but around the world, we've got about over 200,000 people. And what we believe in is that we create local talent for local needs. So for instance, in the Czech Republic, we have a Czech team. If you go to Hungary, Slovakia, etc., it's very localized. But also we create nationalities that can cover certain clients. So in the US, obviously everybody speaks the English, but in certain places we have Japanese speakers, we have Korean speakers, we have Chinese speakers, and so forth. The same for the Czech Republic. So we localize a lot of our teams to talk the local country language, feel the local culture, and so forth. So talent is a very big part of what we do. And to give you an example, we're being in 100 countries. I, for one example, started my career many, many years ago in Kenya. And if you look in the Czech Republic, we have 25 nationalities in the Czech Republic. So we believe in globality, we believe in culture, we believe in nationality, and so forth. So very localized in terms of how we bring talent to bear. Now let's get back to some of the details of how we can support Czech companies. So this is how the model will work. So if a Czech company was to go to the US, we will have something called a parent account manager based in the Czech Republic. It could be in Prague, Brno, doesn't matter. That individual will cover the Czech company's needs in the Czech Republic, but as they expand around the world and in the US. Now, depending how large the company is, we could put something called a regional account manager that could be based in a location where the country has its regional operations. So some companies out of the Czech Republic say we want to have, let's say, a regional operation in Amsterdam or in Hungary or in Germany, in which case they move the center of sort of collections of treasury activity outside the Czech Republic, and from there they expand to the US. So that's one model. Or directly from the Czech Republic, if a company goes to the US or any part of the world, we will then assign a banker in that country. So if you look on the right of the chart, Czech company goes to the US, we'll have a Czech individual covering their needs everywhere in the world from the Czech Republic. But in the US, we'll have a banker that covers the US needs. So therefore, we have a local connectivity, and then we have a global connectivity. And that's how we operate pretty much around the world. This gives you an example of what we do. So in the Czech Republic, we have sort of three very large business lines. We have something called the commercial bank, which contains clients, and you can look at some of the companies that are mentioned there. These are companies that are what I call medium to small companies that are actually expanding in the local market, but also globally. In the middle bucket, you got the larger names, and you got a bunch of brands there. You see a few international names. So we bank 80 to 90% of the Fortune 500. And in the Czech Republic, we bank all the large companies, including government. And on the right-hand side, you got to recall the global companies that are coming into the Czech Republic. So these are the Asian names, the Korean names, Chinese names, and so on and so forth. Now, the reason we break our clients in that manner is that we have teams that are dedicated to understand each and every business model. And that's quite important for the way we cover these names. Now, if you look at that slide again, you can notice some of the brands. And, people ask, well, why do you cover, middle-sized name, large names, and so forth? And the reason is a lot of these companies come to us because of globality. It's because we're located in more than one country. And we believe, frankly, if you're going to be a Czech company just in the Czech Republic, we're probably not the right bank for you. But if you're a Czech company that extends out of the Czech Republic, that's where we have a place to play, because globality is where we pay a big emphasis on. Now, these are the solutions in the United States, which I think are important. And I've just focused on one set of solutions. So if you look at that slide, it basically has digital solutions right in the middle. And as I mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that digital enablement is our core competency. And around that circle, you could see we do things like collections. So in the US, we do all sorts of collections, be it check collections, collections coming through electronically and so forth. We then have, obviously, liquidity management, where we can concentrate funds in any part of the US. Obviously, this tends to be US dollars, so much easier. We do trade finance, both letters of credit, supply chain financing, more sophisticated trade, card solutions to make payments on cards, foreign exchange, again, all enabled electronically, and then payments. So, we find check companies go to the US. The most important thing is being able to make sure you got control of your account, you can make those payments, you can control those payments. Now, the middle bucket, the digital solutions, what that means is that from the Czech Republic, your company can manage its business in the US. So we give you technology here that can control your accounts in the US. And that's very powerful. So you can do everything out there by sitting far away from the country. And for us, that's a very important differentiator, where we ensure that we give you locality, but we offer that globally. Now, in the Czech Republic, what do we do? And I think this slide actually depicts our strengths here. So we've been in the country since 1991. And if you look at the circle there, you pretty much have all the products that you need in the Czech Republic. Many of them actually are offered around the world and obviously in the US. And in the middle bucket there, you've got the digital solutions that we provide. So these are electronic banking solutions, trade capability, and so forth. So this is, and at the bottom left, right, you've got all the testimonials of the good things we do in terms of the awards we won and how we're recognized by the industry. Now, what do our clients look for mostly? So firstly, it's opening an account in the US. So when you look at a Czech company going to the US, the first thing you need to do is open an account. So what we would do in the Czech Republic is give you documentation and allow you to open your account in the Czech Republic, but in the US. So this is where I think the localness comes in, where you can speak to somebody in the Czech language or in English, and we can then help you create an access to the US market by giving you all the documentation here. And we try and make that seamless for you. Everything is done electronically, so as little paper we can provide, we do that. We follow the rules and regulations and so forth. And we try and ensure the onboarding process is as short as possible. The second one is really making sure that you can then provide a collection solutions and a payment solutions to manage your transactions coming in. So you can provide account numbers to your customers in the US who are paying you. At the same time, you can use those accounts to make payments. And then fundraising. You might say, look, I want to raise money. I want to try and basically make trade facilities. I'm looking at investment solutions. I want financing. I'm looking at raising equity. I'm losing in debt. So all that comes as a next step once you got your account open and once you're actually doing transactions. This is a case study. So this is a company in Brno. It's called Codasip. And they are actually in the automation tooling business. They had a good story about them is they went around opening their businesses around the world. So they were accessing European markets and Asian markets. They opened accounts in Germany, Austria. They went across to places like France, Greece, and so forth. They had offices in China, Hong Kong. But they had a bank account with different banks. When they came to Citibank, they said, how do I actually have one bank that can help me around the world? So proudly to say, today they work with Citibank. They are in the semiconductor industry, and they have the headquarters in the Czech Republic. And from here, they're able to now do their business around the world using one setup in the Czech Republic. They're able to open their accounts, transact electronically, work in multiple currencies, use electronic tools. And we've been able to basically give them a platform where they can see across the 24-hour day, know exactly what money they have in the system. They can pay the suppliers in multiple currencies, and they have good control of it. And the other important thing is cybersecurity. So they have a war chest of technology which makes sure it's cyber-proof. And working with one bank allows you access things much easier. So documentation, the person you're dealing with, the systems you're dealing with. When you open up and you scale up, it's one conversation. You don't have to repeat everything. When you open a new country, it's the same documents in a new country. So it makes it very, very scalable and extremely effective. So that's Codasip, good story. And like that, we work with many of the Czech companies that are going to the US. That's it about Citi. I've got a very big appendix. It covers everything from our working capital solutions, trade finance solutions, financing solutions. We look at different things around, how to raise money, and we also cover things around ESG, which is quite important as well. I won't go through the appendix, but that's available. If anybody wants more data, please get in touch, and happy to provide it. So thank you very much for listening to me, and hopefully that you're interested to work with Citi. My colleagues are in the back of the room. Reach out to them, and they'll be happy to hopefully give you a current account opening form, and you can open an account, and you're happy to go, yeah? Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Munir. And next up, obvious topic, we're going to discuss visas. And for that, we have Zachary Rosner from the Consular Department from the U.S. Embassy in Prague.
Thank you. All right, dobre odpoledne, everybody. It looks like we are afternoon. I'm coming here from the U.S. Embassy here in Prague. I see a lot of familiar faces out there. I'm in the consular section, so if you've applied for a visa in the last year or so, you probably have talked to me. And I'm going to talk today just a little bit, I'll keep it brief, about business and investor visas and how to navigate the process, what types of visa classes you and your workers can take advantage of. The first one is sort of the most typical that you're probably familiar with. That's the business or tourist visa, B1 for business, B2 for tourists. We usually put them together. And this will allow you most of your pretty typical short-term business needs. So business trips, meetings, seeking investments, making sales, professional or educational conferences, and trade shows and business conventions like this one. It will also allow you to begin the setup of a business in the United States. So it'll allow you to come here, sign contracts, negotiate deals, lease property, view property. And on a B visa, you can stay for up to 6 months, pending what Department of Homeland Security says when you arrive. And these visas are good for 10 years. That being said, there are a couple of alternatives to actually showing up in the window at the embassy and applying for a visa. You can apply for ESTA, which will allow you to be in the United States for up to 90 days. You don't need to come into an interview for that. But in case it's denied, I would recommend doing it quite far in advance, just in case you do wind up having to apply for a visa. The other option is the visa waiver program. So a lot of Czech people especially who are renewing any type of visa, same class, you don't even need an interview. You can just essentially apply for a visa, send in your application materials and your passport, and we're usually just able to issue it that way. Now, one use of a B1 visa that most people, I think, are not actually aware of is for industrial workers. So oftentimes I'll see, Czech companies that might have businesses where they're building warehouses in the United States, manufacturing facilities, automation storage facilities. So you can actually send people, your own workers, to the United States to do things like install, service, or repair your commercial or industrial machinery. They can also go there to supervise and train U.S. industrial workers on how to get the job done. The one thing that they cannot do is actually just go to the United States and be the workers themselves. Next, I'll talk briefly about L visas. So this is if a Czech company, for example, has a branch in the United States. You can actually transfer people between your branches or between your offices from the Czech Republic to the United States. And there's two ways to qualify for that. There's managers and executives. That would be an L1A. And there are workers with specialized knowledge. That's an L1B. And I see tons of engineers, accountants, other people with types of specialized knowledge. And they generally are, as long as the applicant is qualified, pretty easy to qualify for this type of visa. An H-1B, in contrast, is for U.S.-based companies. So if there are Czech workers that want to go work for a U.S.-based company and they have some sort of higher educational degree or background, that is the type of visa that they would apply for. And finally, I'll talk just a little bit about E2 visas, which is the treaty investor visas, which is probably the most relevant to people here. I know people in the audience right now have applied or are applying for E2 visas. So the E2 investor visa program was established to enhance economic cooperation between the United States and other countries, including the Czech Republic. And you can stay up to 5 years in the United States on this, and you can renew as many times as you want, as long as the company that you've established in the United States is continually operating successfully. And like with the L's and with the H's, you can bring your spouse, you can bring your children as derivatives on this type of visa. They may be able to work, they can go to school. That being said, because of the benefits of this type of visa class, the qualifications are a little bit more strenuous to meet. So for example, the applicant or your business must have already invested or are actively in the process of investing. And what that means is that you have to have already taken on some sort of risk. You have to have already, say, spent a lot of money on inventory, or already opened a business, or already hired workers. You actually have to have sunk money into your business to demonstrate that you are truly committed to the success of your investment. Just having, say, signed a lease but not paid for anything, or signed some contracts, will not yet let you qualify for this type of visa, although you might in the future. Similarly, it must already be a real operating commercial enterprise. And these are activities that you can all do on a B1 visa. So you can travel back and forth from the Czech Republic to the United States, sort of get the wheels in motion of your company, and then once you do qualify, you can actually move to the United States to continue operating. The investment must be substantial. And this is really more of an art than a science. You could think of an incredibly large corporation. There might be a much higher bar than, say, like a small business person who might need to only invest $20,000 to make sure that they're able to establish a successful company. The investment also must be more than marginal. And what that means is that the successful business must generate enough more economic activity than is just to sustain you and your family's life in the United States. And that can be done either through profits or by just, say, having, maybe the company's not necessarily that profitable. It can take a while to become profitable. But if it's generating a lot of economic activity, so if you're hiring a lot of people or making a lot of sales, you could meet that way. And then there are two basically types of employees that can qualify. There are the executive or supervisory employees, so your CEOs or your managers, your supervisors, people that really have a great impact in managing the direction of the company. And then there are essential employees, so people that have proprietary knowledge or specialized knowledge that you would require bringing to the United States in order to ensure the success of your company, that maybe you couldn't easily hire Americans to do the same job. And so that's it. I really appreciate your time. I'll be around today, and so I'll be happy to answer any of your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Zach. And so now it's time for some Czech company presentations. First up, we have Monika Ventrlíková. She's the CEO of Albaform. It's a Czech automotive and heavy industry manufacturing company. She's also the honorary consul of the Czech Republic in Georgia, and she will tell you a bit about her company's experience in the United States. Monika, the floor is yours.
Dobré odpoledne, moje jméno je Monika Ventrlíková a já tady budu zastupovat... sorry, in English, I'm so sorry. Hello, my name is Monika Ventrlíková and I'm here to represent company Albaform. I am the CEO and owner of Albaform. And I would like to tell you about our experience building a company in US. So our company is a family company that was established more than 30 years ago by my parents. And in 2011, we decided to follow our German customer to US. Currently, we have 3 locations. We have 1 location in Czech Republic, 1 in US, and 1 also in Mexico. We produce wireframes for passenger car seats. So our main customers are BMW and Mercedes, and that's the reason why we came to US. Since 5 years ago, we also serve American customers. So again, the company was started in 1992, and in 2011, we opened manufacturing plant in US in Atlanta, Georgia. In 2022, an important milestone for our family was that we started producing 1 million frames for passenger car seats a year. And of course, this year, it's opening production facility in Mexico. You can see the customers that we serve mainly in the United States. And now I would like to speak about what brought us to United States. As a small family company in manufacturing, we in 2008 were looking for a competitive advantage. Because most of our German customers started to pull the manufacturing jobs back to Germany. And we wanted to know what we can do to gain more closer relationship with our customers. And our customers said, you have to follow us to our international markets. And we considered China, we considered Russia, but of course these markets were too difficult for our small family company. In 2011, we had opportunity to get a business for the US market, and we decided that we will locate in Georgia. I think that was kind of thinking that we cannot, we are very happy about that we made this decision. We not only gained competitive advantage, but we also outgrew our Czech company, and our US plant is now more significantly larger, and the company is actually headquartered now in US. We have about 150 employees in US, and our turnover is about $20 million a year. I would definitely recommend everyone to make this decision, especially now when the European automotive market is not so strong. And I think that the size of American market is something that we do not want to leave to other companies from other countries in Europe. I think that Czech companies really have a lot to offer, and I would definitely encourage everyone to go. Of course, there is a certain experience going abroad. And I would say advantage of US market is great when it comes to bureaucracy. It's very easy to open a company in the US. It's not bureaucratic at all. I can compare now when we are opening business and starting production in Mexico. 10 years ago, or 12 years ago when we came to US, it's incomparable how easy it is to do business in US. Of course, there are other challenges, and that is a very expensive workforce, and of course the competitive environment. I think that all of us kind of imagine the US market being so huge that we think that everybody can be successful. It's not true. Americans are very good salespeople, and it's very hard to make your place. But I would definitely say that it's one of the easiest experiences in my life to do business. Is definitely do business in US comparing to Czech Republic or Mexico. The lessons. What I can recommend to Czech companies going to the US market. We have to really make sure we have the investment money. It's an expensive market. It costs a lot of money to get established. Not only towards the visa question, as you saw, you have to make significant investment just to get the visa for your employees. And I would say it's totally essential that you also have workforce here in Czech Republic who can temporarily, for a year, 2 or 3, go to US and to be your support and to be your transfer of know-how. These are the two most important things, that you have the capital to invest for a few years until you start making money, and that you have really middle management and technical staff that is willing to help you really transfer the know-how. If the company doesn't have that, I don't think it can be successful, and it can be really discouraging for the CEOs in Czech Republic if they see that the company is not making money the first year or second year. It really needs time, and I would really say that these are the two most important things. I'm available for any questions if you have. If you have any specific topics that you are interested in me answering. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Monica. And last but not least, we have our final presentation of the day today. We have Jiří Ferenc Jr. from Fermat. Fermat is a Czech manufacturer of milling and boring tools, and he'll tell you a bit about their operations in the US.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jiří Ferenc Jr. I'm a director of Fermat Group, Czech manufacturer, headquartered of horizontal boring machines, milling machines, and grinding machines, headquartered here in Brno. First of all, I would like to thank the people from Select USA and the US Embassy for organizing this event. I would also like to thank the previous speakers for their valuable information, and I would like to congratulate Alba Forum on their success in the US. When I was listening to the CEO talking about America and their experience in America, it's like 99% the same experience that we have. So there are definitely some general lessons that you can apply when you decide to invest there. I would also, if someone's here listening and thinking about making the investment in the United States, I would definitely recommend you use the opportunity of the member states that we have here, because in our experience, we have been working with Jobs Ohio for the last couple of years, and they definitely helped us a lot, provided us a lot of good information, and gave us contacts to some other people in the Cleveland area that helped us with whatever particular problem we had at hand. So I will tell you our story. We started in the United States market in 2010 with nothing. We didn't invest there yet, and we were using a network of dealers across the United States to represent us and sell our products, which is it's a first and logical step of many companies. However, as many companies with experience in the United States would agree, unless you make a direct investment, there is only so much you can achieve in the United States, because simply your opportunities will be limited. That is why in 2014 we decided to make a strategic acquisition and to acquire a company called Lucas Precision in Cleveland, Ohio. Lucas Precision is an old company. It's been in business for over 100 years, and it's been in the past manufacturing, selling, and servicing the same kind of machinery that we produce. Luckily, Lucas was also one of our first initial partners in the United States, so it made sense to kind of acquire them and continue as one company. And mainly because of that acquisition, we went from, in about 10 years, we went from having revenue in the United States of 0 to our average annual revenue in the United States of $10 million, which we have had for the last couple of years. If I should look back on our acquisition, there are a couple of benefits that I think you might be expected to realize in your own businesses. When you have direct participation in the United States, you can talk directly to your customers, because what we find out is that when you are using dealers, they oftentimes present you the information and the feedback from customer as more positive than it in reality is. So when you have your own presence there, you can talk to the customers directly. You can find out what their real wants and needs are, and you can tailor your product accordingly, which will invariably result in increased sales. The second benefit is qualitation or a reputation control, because obviously, especially if you are in a machine tool industry, the reliability and quality are the key, and you have a huge opportunity here to differentiate your company, because generally in the United States, if you are from overseas, you are expected that your service or basically your service will be less than that of local companies, which is a huge opportunity, because, for example, we try to focus on this point, and we made it a goal to be better than some of the local companies, and it really helped, and it won us some customers over for lifetime because they were not expecting that. I'm going to talk a little bit about sales, and this will be maybe a little addition to what the CEO of Alba mentioned. United States is a very competitive market. Pretty much everyone is there from the entire world, and you find out that it's not enough to compete only on one or two aspects of your value proposition, but for example, it's difficult to compete only on price, or it's difficult to compete only on technical aspects, and you realize sooner or later that you must take or you must apply the concept of an overall value that you provide to the customers from their first interaction, and that is something that we are not really used to in the Czech Republic, and it takes a lot of effort on behalf of your entire team to shift to this mindset of always delivering value at every key meeting point with the customer. And if you can do that, then your sales really, not only in the United States, but everywhere in the world, will definitely increase. Another key benefit is access to US talent. And in our experience, it's not only the employees, which of course obviously is a big part, but we found out that especially in some local services, the standard in the US of that service is much higher in the United States. So in our case, we've been using IT services and marketing services exclusively provided by US companies, because we are much more satisfied with the value that we are getting back, and it's difficult to find these companies and work with them if you're not directly present in the US. And the final point is that if you are present in the US, you can supply to the US government, because US government is a huge purchaser of goods of any sorts, and not only is supplying to the US government a great reference, it's also lucrative in the financial point of view. Now again, I have some lessons learned, some tips, or something that I wish we would have known before, as it would save us some headaches and financial losses. Please make sure that you choose a strong legal partner, not only for the acquisition, but especially going forward, because as the gentleman, the speaker from Denton's mentioned, the US is a country with a very frequent litigation history, and unless you have a partner that knows your business and can work on your behalf to protect you and make the claims go away quickly, you're going to lose a lot of energy and money fighting people for whatever reasons. Another thing is you have to approach due diligence a little bit differently than you do here in Europe or in the Czech Republic, because there are some aspects that you can, I can say, pretty much safely ignore here, but are big deal in the United States and can come back after you big time later. Especially if you're in any kind of manufacturing, please make sure that you do and you work with experts to look at your environmental and social footprint and risks that you might be taking on, and make sure that you have a plan and know what to do if something comes up, and how you're going to address it, how much it's going to cost you, and so on. Another key thing is you need to, or at least in our experience, the key to success in the United States was communication between our Czech headquarters and our US branch. And that's because we have different culture, different expectations, different ways of working. And you can find that even if people understand what they are saying or what the other colleagues are saying, they do not understand it the same way. There are many misunderstandings. So do not hesitate to invest money in having the people from the US spending time in the Czech Republic and vice versa, because the sooner you do that, the sooner your company is gonna produce and start working well, and you don't want to lose 3 or 4 years by not producing because the people cannot understand each other. And the final point is there might be a time that you might need to bring a colleague from Czech Republic temporarily or permanently to the United States. And obviously for that they need a visa. Especially if you do some searches on the internet, you'll be able to find a lot of people offering you to help with the visas for very, very low amounts. But I would, from our own experience, recommend ignoring this. I would strongly recommend choosing a reputable immigration law firm in the area where you are located, and having them do the application on your behalf, because it's not only about losing time and money if the application is incorrect and the people have to go back. They also might get a ban from entering United States again, and you don't want to risk that, because then it takes a long time to get rid of that. But despite everything I have said, I have to reiterate that the United States is a country of abundant opportunities, and I definitely recommend you to invest there because the potential payback is much better than any risks or problems that might come along the way. So with that, I would like to thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to openly share with you our experience and our story. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jiří. And everybody, this is the end of our seminar. But at 1:40, we will be beginning with our matchmaking meetings between Czech companies and US states. If I may ask to be there at 1:30 already, the Director General of the Trade Fair would like to say a few words. Thank you for being here, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the seminar. Great to have you here today, and we wish you have some productive meetings in the afternoon today. Thank you.